We have just entered the glorious year of 2026, and the big question everybody has is, what are the plans for Classic WoW? Now, if you look at Retail WoW, we've got pre-patch on January 20th, and then we have March 2nd launch for Midnight WoW. It's a big year, a lot of content, a lot of patches, just a lot of discussion across the board. But as a Classic WoW fan, as a TBC enjoyer, as an Era enjoyer, heck, as a SOD enjoyer or a MOP enjoyer, what are the plans for all of us? Now, if you look at the board behind me, you guys can't really see MOP yet, and the reason for that is I don't think Blizzard knows what to do with MOP. So I don't even know how to theory craft on MOP, because MOP's numbers are fucking atrocious. For Classic progression to reach the numbers that MOP has on Throne of Thunder, one of the most iconic raids of all time, in everybody's top 5 raids, it's that good. Is under 100,000 active raiders. So the question there becomes, if MOP is that received, well received, what does that bode for Warlords of Draenor? Are we getting WoD Classic? Are they gonna finally end it and send everybody to retail? It's a very divisive conversation, and maybe I'll touch on it later in this video. But today's topic is the plan for WoW Classic. Now, I'm sure you've seen everybody's videos. There's going to be 17 billion of them this year alone, so let me give you mine. BlizzCon 2026, September 12th and 13th. That is when they're going to announce Classic Plus. This isn't like a maybe. We know for a fact the Classic dev team went from like 2 employees and a goddamn imp in a closet to a proper dev team of about 35 plus employees individuals, right? So, we have a release date, a prediction, and we'll get to that. That's not super important here, but it's the rest. TBC anniversary, Wrath anniversary. Are we gonna get more seasonal crap? So, let's start with TBC anniversary right here. In fact, let's do a magic trick. Let's flip the board. So, the TBC release date, January 13th TBC pre-patch. As of today's recording date, it is the 7th of January, and we don't know when TBC is launching. Where are the comms, Blizzard? Where are they? Because I'm gonna keep it real, I don't fucking know. But nonetheless, right, okay. We don't know when TBC itself is actually launching, and that's fine and dandy. You know what? Things happen, it doesn't matter too much. What does matter though is the fact that we are effectively in this time frame of not knowing exactly what date makes TBC launch and how long that date is. Classic WoW enjoyers, I get it. I see the comments all the time, oh my god, you fucking nerds, move on, get a life, play something else. No, we're not going to. Yes, it's the 3rd time we're playing TBC. Yes, people want to take time off and actually play TBC. I know, to some of you that seems alien, but League of Legends has 200 million monthly active users. Let's not ask questions that nobody wants the answers to. We're addicted and we can't quit. So let's just actually talk about when it's coming out. There is 6 days to go from now to pre-patch. And then pre-patch to launch. I'm assuming it's one of these 2 dates, right? It could technically be longer. It could technically be like much later on in time. So that is something that could potentially happen, right? But February 2nd, February 10th, 20 days or 28 days, it's a reasonable time frame. We're going to get one of these 2. Almost every single other Classic WoW expansion has come out with a 20-day pre-patch. So based on that information, we can expect it to be a 20-day pre-patch, but maybe they're gonna be generous and give us 4 weeks so everybody can go and grind all their stuff. I do want to make one caveat real quick though, and this is kind of interesting. We haven't got comms yet, but last night they went onto the PTR and adjusted the honor values from the pre-patch gear for rank 14. It went from about 3,000-4,000 honor per item to about 14,000 per item. And we still don't have a release date for TBC itself. I just wanted to make that little distinction, little clarification right there for everybody, just so you guys know, right? Anyways, this is the TBC situation. Midnight WoW, January 20th pre-patch. And that's cool, but Midnight WoW is releasing March 2nd. They, months ahead of time, told everybody when it was coming out, take your time off, get ready, enjoy yourself. And I know, Midnight WoW looks phenomenal, I'm gonna play it, I'm a Classic Andy. I love retail's new state. It's actually a fun, enjoyable experience. I'm not the most sweaty retail player. I'll hit 2.5k, 3k rating, and I'll maybe do a heroic raid. But you know, I'm an okay player. So it's gonna be fun for everybody. But they knew well ahead of time. And the classic player base is told to sit down, hold tight, information is coming your way. Brother, where? Where? Anyways, let's move on to the next part of Classic. At the end of TBC Anniversary, and how long it's going to take, we're going to assume here it's going to be about 13 months, give or take, about the same time frame as Anniversary, right? About 13 months for TBC Annie to go from beginning to middle to end. 13 months. That would put the release date of Wrath of the Lich King Annie around February-ish, February-March 2027. Reasonable, realistic, but before we get there, are we getting TBC error? Is that going to happen this time? We didn't get cloning services because the devs themselves had said it before, back in 2021, 2022, when they did interviews about this, that the cloning service took so much time, there were so many bugs, so many errors, they're never doing that shit again. It wasn't worth the time, the money, or the resource investment. So that means for TBC, if we do get a TBC error, it is a transfer situation. You either go from TBC Ann to Wrath, or you transfer your character from TBC Ann to the TBC error server. If they do a TBC error server. Now in the comments down below, let me know, do you want a TBC error and a Wrath error hypothetically in the future? Would you actually be playing that if there was a Classic Plus that was a forever going long-term solution? Would you be here and then going back to one of these two? I'm just genuinely curious, so let me know in the comments down below. But now, we've discussed TBC. Before we learn about Wrath Annie, we are going to be at BlizzCon. Because there has been radio silence, and I'm pretty sure a gag order effect on top of the Classic dev team, because they're not really yapping very much on Twitter anymore. Now, they got so many death threats, most of them stopped talking on Twitter for the most part, because, you know, Sod's personal failings meant the dev should, you know, if you ask the Classic player base, quite some heinous activities. And nobody should be telling the devs to, you know, rope. Let's not do that, but people did in quite vast numbers. So the devs that don't talk to us anymore, and we kind of deserve it. It's all you fuckers' fault. You guys shouldn't have done that, but nonetheless, we will not be learning about Wrath until BlizzCon. And at BlizzCon, they're going to announce Classic Plus. So the question here becomes, when we get to BlizzCon on September 12th or September 13th, and I'll be there, I'll see you guys there, are they going to actually announce Wrath? Are they going to just go TBC error, it's over, get ready for Classic Plus? Or are we actually going to get a whole year wait time from Wrath of the Lich King to Classic Plus? Are they going to make us wait till we finish Wrath Annie, a whole year, 13 months, Wrath becomes Wrath Error, and then they drop Classic Plus? Because in that timeline, in that alternate universe, we are effectively not getting Classic Plus, because again, 1 year / 13 months, March 2027, that would put Classic Plus at about April, May 2028. And I'ma be real, I don't know if the hype can survive till 2028, April, May 2028. I think that would make the whole community crash out. Because as popular as Wrath is, I don't think Wrath having another 13 months of no Classic Plus is the right solution. So Blizzard has to truly make a choice. And the choice here is problematic. They either just drop Wrath and ignore it. They just go, hey, you transfer the Wrath, this is a forever Wrath realm. Once we hit the end of Wrath, no more updates, no more nothing, no reset. This is Wrath era forever now. Play Wrath, have fun, whatever, it's just gonna be there. Here's Classic Plus, so Wrath gets fucked. Or they just go, we are delaying Wrath. You're gonna be stuck at TBC for a year or two while we work on Classic Plus. We'll be dropping a Wrath era. You know, this TBC is gonna be 26 fucking months. So you're gonna be stuck on Sunwell for 13 months of Sunwell prog. And then, you know, about a year or so into Classic Plus, we get Wrath of the Lich King anniversary. Then no matter how you look at it, no matter how they do it, they're pissing somebody off and fucking somebody over. So this entire, over here, this top column is kind of fucked. Because at the end of the day, will Wrath Annie even happen? It's the same way of saying, will Warlord of Draenor Classic happen? Because I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think so. I don't think we're getting WoD Classic. I think the numbers in MoP were so bad that WoD Classic is not going to do well. I think we're either getting forever MoP era, where MoP is just done, that's it. You guys have won, this is the pinnacle, this is the end of Classic. WoD, MoP is finished, you guys are enjoying this, and we're done. Because they just did Legion Remix, right? And again, I'm not saying Legion Remix is why we're not getting Legion Classic, but are people even going to go back? MoP's numbers prove that it ain't going to be that high. Legion might break 200k, maybe 250k active raiders, but Legion launched in a dog shit state. But people like over remember how amazing Legion was. Legion was amazing, but like if you played Legion at launch, like a lot of people who did back then and then quit, it wasn't. Now, do you guys remember having to farm the right legendary? And then you got the wrong one, so your character was bricked, so you had to start a brand new character if you're trying to progress? I remember. There was a lot of fucked up shit with Legion, by the way, I'm just saying. But nonetheless, like, MoP Classic into WoD, it's a complete unknown. We don't have a roadmap. Retail's got a roadmap. In Classic WoW, we are guessing. We are blind. The Classic community doesn't actually know what's happening. You look at any particular video on this topic of people saying this is going to happen or that's going to happen, and at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen because the silence is deafening, and effectively we're being told to wait till BlizzCon. Keep in mind, it is January 7th, and we don't know when TBC is launching. We don't know when TBC itself is actually launching. We are 6 days from an expansion, and we don't have a timeline. Not even a blue post. I was expecting like a blue post yesterday, on Tuesday. We didn't. I'm sure there will be a blue post by the time this video comes out, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, the conversation still should happen. What happened to the Classic communication? I know Microsoft has been mass firing everybody that's not a developer. You guys know how it is, Microsoft as a company. They gotta make AI, more data centers for AI, more RAM for AI. No humans, pesky little humans, get fucking fired and kicked out of the company. So there isn't a support staff. They fired the comms team before for retail. I'm not sure if the retail comms team was Classic and retails. Nonetheless, they fired people. You guys saw how much of a shit show Gamescom was. There's a reason for that. So you see all this, and you think to yourself, as a Classic fan, we're slightly fucked. But it's still hype. MoP fans have Siege of Orgrimmar to look forward to. Yeah, it's something. Classic fans, we got TBC. TBC is gonna happen, regardless of when it's going to happen, it's gonna be fun. Wrath will likely happen. But Classic Plus, the magnum opus, the hype, the dream, the hopium of the entire Classic community after BlizzCon. Now, I want to discuss these two dates right here. November 2026 versus May 2027. Those are the two realistic time frames. We're either going to get a stealth drop right after BlizzCon. As you guys know, they did it with SAW, they've done it with Anniversary, they've done it with a whole bunch of events where they've announced things. 1 month or 2 months after, we get the big drop. We know there's a Classic panel at BlizzCon, and I've got a whole video coming out on about why Classic Plus is closer than you think, etc. So I'm not going to deep dive that on this video, wait for the next one. But November 2026 versus May 2027. Those are about the two realistic dates. Now, it could be like March to May, but it's going to be end of Q1 between Q2 2026, 2027 is the realistic date for Classic Plus if it doesn't come out right after BlizzCon. They're not going to do like a 2-year wait time or wait period, because again, as I said with this, if they make us have to wait through Wrath Annie to play Classic Plus, that's going to piss off a lot of people, and they're not going to do that, because Wrath Annie, I don't think is going to be that popular. People said Anniversary itself was going to be incredibly popular, packing hundreds of thousands of people. It broke 100k for like 2-3 weeks, and then it's been under 100k activated the whole time. We know based on numbers, based on what Holly Longdale and other people have said at Blizzard, that about 1/3 of people raid. That means there's about 300,000 active players on Anniversary. Wrath would at best be 400,000 active players, whereas Classic would probably break well over that. So numbers, dev team size, the radio silence, the secrecy, and the devs constantly giving us cryptic messages talking about Classic Plus. This is the future of Classic WoW, and every single other thing is filler. MOP, TBC, Era, Anniversary, Wrath, every other element of Classic WoW is filler as we wait to Classic Plus. Because that is the future of Classic. Agron's done 10 fucking tweets. There's been multiple blue posts. The devs have even done several like teasers in end of year reviews and things of that nature saying, guys, we have so much cooking for the future of Classic, for forever Classic. Just wait. Long-term plans of Classic. Everything points towards Classic Plus. But hey, what are your thoughts on the plans for Classic WoW in 2026? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. If you're gonna hate the video, be a dedicated fucking hater. Leave a creative hate comment. Be real about it. Don't be a basic bitch. Hate like a man. Thank you all for watching. Evan Hart out. Peace.